Hi guys, welcome to Rush Online. Guess what? Today I'm just gonna tackle a topic I never intended to tackle just because I never had it in mind. But here's the case whereby my previous video I posted about why Ghanaians hate Nigerians. Somebody came and left a comment down below after posting it on Facebook. He actually goes by the name CJ Ojimba, which I'm very sure might be a Nigerian just by telling from the name. So he posted this down below my video and I read, but when they come here, everyone turns to their brother. He means when Ghanaians come to Nigeria, that I'm just guessing, since he's a Nigerian, he probably might be in Nigeria or might be sending the text from Nigeria. So he's saying, but when they come here, everyone turns to their brother. But the truth is that you don't truly love yourselves, let alone talk of loving others. But before I dig deep, please, I'd like you to please subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, and please put your comment down below concerning this statement right here that this brother said. The Ghanaians do not really actually love themselves, but it's like we would rather pretend we love foreigners. But deep down we don't even love ourselves, let alone loving foreigners. So please, I would like you to please leave your comment down below. Let me know what you think about this topic or this statement right here coming from this brother. So what I actually have to say is, saying Ghanaians do not love themselves, to a certain point it doesn't really make sense, because every country that is tagged as peaceful has to come from peaceful people. Peaceful indigenous. They make it peaceful for others to come and enjoy the peaceful nature of the country. A whole lot of foreigners comes to Ghana and they are the ones who goes out there spreading the news that Ghana is peaceful, that Ghanaians are friendly, that Ghanaians are very good when it comes to hospitality. So they come here and this is where they find so much peace, go out there and start spreading the news. So this is not actually coming from Ghanaians, but rather coming from foreigners that have visited Ghana. And it still goes on. So a country that does not love themselves can never ever agree to the fact that they have to live together in harmony just to create that peaceful nature for others to come and enjoy.
Ghana is amongst the 10 most peaceful countries in Africa. Ghana government doesn't support terrorism. Governments of other West Africa are deep into the terrorism. There's unity among these tribes in Ghana. That's why there's freedom, there's peace. Because a place where there's unity, there'll be peace. So there's unity among these tribes, not like in this place where, oh, this tribe will be fighting over this tribe. No, it doesn't actually happen like that in Ghana.
This video, why Ghana is peaceful, is the fact that when a crime is committed in Ghana, Ghanaians do not just sit down and fold their arms and say, oh, this is only for a certain people because it did not come close to me. This crime does not affect me. I'm going to keep quiet about it. No, Ghanaians are very, very patriotic. They love themselves. So when a crime is committed in Ghana, you see different people from different walks of life and different locations coming out to talk about it. Some are taking advantages of the social media and doing campaigns, talking about it online until it reaches the right people, the government and the people who are in authority, and they do something about it. So this is one reason why Ghana is peaceful. They don't just sit down and say, oh, this thing does not affect me, it doesn't come close to me, so I'm free. They take everyone in their different location, they are talking about it, they are campaigning about it, they are talking about it on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on all the social media platforms to get the attention of the direct people who can give them, proper solution to that particular crime. So this is something that I really, it's amazing. Imagine something happens here and people are talking about it in the north, they are talking about it in the south, they are talking about it everywhere. Even if the people in authority don't want to do anything about about it, or they feel like, oh, they should let this one slide. But for the fact that other people are talking about it and there's a campaign going on about it, they are drawn into, you know, doing something about it. And this is worthy of emulation. We should not just sit down and say, oh, this happened to a selected few people, so I'm okay. As far as it's not in my region, I'm fine. So this is one thing that I love about Ghana and Ghanaians, the fact that they talk about crime, they do something about it in their own little way, and it reaches the right authority, and the authorities go ahead to, you know, proffer solution and make sure there is peace, or there's, you know, there's judgment, or there's punishment or penalty for these crimes. It's something that I really appreciate about Ghana.
So that way you can tell it is not entirely true that Ghanaians do not love themselves. Let's even dig deep into religion, the religious aspects. For example, we have Christians and Muslims. There's a whole lot of things going on in other countries in Africa that never happens in Ghana. You can never find, or you barely find, a Christian fighting a Muslim based on something that has to do with religion. It doesn't happen. It's as if the Christians and Muslims in Ghana really do understand each other. It might not be 100%, but to some extent they really do. Why? Because they actually tolerate each other. In every household in Ghana having about 5 people or 5 tenants or 5 different families living in a compound contains both Christians and Muslims, and they live peacefully. In human nature, definitely once in a while there's going to be some fights, some misunderstandings and all that. Why? Because we're not actually 100%, so we all have our faults and our differences, which is going to display, or which is going to come to play as long as you guys live together, because even brothers fight. So saying Ghanaians do not love themselves actually isn't entirely true. To some extent, yeah, because if I say to some extent, I can say, yeah, when it comes to developmental projects, if the country comes together as one with one voice, yeah, we can quickly move the country forward, but in terms of development. But just because we somehow divided, so it's like we always taking sides. Now guess what? A perfect example is the fact that it even took the national chief imam of Ghana to even contribute to a project, an ongoing project from the president of Ghana, concerning the building of a national cathedral for the Christians, for the Christendom. But yet this man, or this religious leader, the national chief imam belonging to the Muslims, even went to the extent of contributing to the building of the cathedral, though he was never going to step his foot over there to pray. But why? He did it out of love. Why? Because we still have that kind of bond, regardless where we belong.
The Chief Imam's donation follows the Vice President Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia's call on Ghanaians of all religious backgrounds to voluntarily contribute to the construction of the National Cathedral. The cathedral, if completed, will house a biblical garden, chapels, as well as conference rooms, amongst others. Spokesperson for the Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimeyao Shaibu, says the gesture was to further deepen the peaceful coexistence between Christians and Muslims in the country.
He said we should not use politics to disturb our relationship. He said, let's keep politics aside, but rather, as practitioners of different faith, whenever there's an issue, let's all get united and see what we can do in the best interest of our country, as a nation. He said we should be mindful of the fact that God has been very gracious to us, giving us peace at a time when nations surrounding us have been plunged in conflict and wars. And so therefore God has been specially gracious to us, and we should also show thankfulness to him. And having done so, he said, in the spirit of solidarity and mutual cooperation, once he has been visited through this courtesy call by the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, he also feels that in a very symbolic way, he will also make a token contribution. And this is to indicate to the whole of the world that in Ghana, Muslims and Christians are living at peace, and there is a continuous friendship and cooperation.
If this is not love, then what could it be? So regardless of differences, yeah, we have our differences, all right. We might not agree all the time, but guess what? The fact that there is peace in the country, it means Ghanaians, to a large extent, do love each other. That's why we still have the love for foreigners. And wherever there is peace, there is love. So if Ghanaians do not love each other, foreigners cannot come to Ghana and go out there and rather be spreading the news that yes, Ghana is such a peaceful and beautiful place to be. Thank you.